That was crazy on my end. I was cussing you out. I was like, I know somebody better come up here and keep me company, dang it.
Oh my Lord, have mercy. Welcome,
It's the,
welcome back to another episode of I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Disconnect. Um,
your connection going good over there, buddy?
I'm trying to get the hello.
Yeah, I hear you, Dedrick.
Okay. Play this. Okay. So connectivity issues. So I really apologize, y'all. Tonight we're trying to get some people in or whatever, but we're having some technical difficulties. But anyway, so tonight is going to be a doozy. Once again, I want to welcome you all to Soul Flow Conversations. I am your host, Dedrick the Cookie Man, and your co-host, Miss Jessica Fields, is going to be here shortly. We're going to welcome to the stage Miss Morphy. Yes, indeed.
Thank you, everybody. Sorry for the background. I'm still at work.
Thank you for joining us. Like I said, we're trying to get some more folks in here, and some connectivity issues and all that good stuff. So really, please forgive me. And I'll just trying to make sure I have my backup. But so anyway, tonight's discussion, we're talking about um, uh, uh, can we segregate while still being a part of society? And also, we're going to be talking about on the second half of the show tonight. We're going to be talking about the Department of Education situation. So, but first and foremost, we're going to be talking about how we can segregate without while being still a part of society as we know it as we speak right now. So, so that's what we're going to be discussing and everything. So we have a video clip that brought about what the discussion was. uh, and it would not act right. Wouldn't let me put it on here, but I can show you on my particular phone. So, but give me a second. Okay, give me a second. All right, so this is what the video looks like. Apparently, there was a grand opening for the first black-owned grocery store in Cincinnati, and it was a big thing on TikTok and all that good stuff. So I'm gonna show that to you. It's almost time. So yeah, the grand opening for this grocery store, and the turnout, as you can see, was pretty good, uh, and it was it was amazing. So, and people were very offended and all that good stuff. They were offended by it, the notion of segregation being allowed in certain situations when it comes to retail and in public places or whatever the case is, right? So so the question that was posed by Mrs. Fields was how being a part of society, the topic came from and whatnot. So we're going to be discussing that a little bit, and we're going to see what you all feel about it and what you think about it and all the because honestly, when we get into the meat and potatoes of segregation itself, there's a there's a lot that can be said about it, both good and bad. So and a lot of it was pretty bad for the black community and stuff like that. But we're going to discuss that in depth, and we're going to get into it and whatnot. Morphine, you got something to say
I would like
about
to know.
segregation?
I had to come out and sneak in the back because it's loud in the front. So I would like to know, is the thought of segregation in 2025 the same as it was in 1954, where it was a race thing, or is it going to be a classism thing?
That's a great question. That is a very great question. And whatnot. And the way I see that is the classism is already existing. You know what I'm saying? The racism is
Right.
existing as well. Um, and whatnot. Give me just a second. Just a second. Welcome, Mrs. Fields. Welcome, welcome.
Oh, wait, my mic went on. Hey.
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 So yeah, I'll pose the question again. And if you would like to pose the question, since you're more than welcome to. But I pose the question: can we segregate while still being a part of society, and whatnot? And the second half of discussing the Department of Education and all that good stuff. So, and right now we're talking about the segregation. Now, Ms. Morphine posed a really interesting question, and her question was, well, I can't say it like she said it, but uh, so if you're still there,
Wait, I
I
can
can
repeat
speak.
it. I can repeat it. I gotta go on the back. So, cause I know I'm here.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen. So I wonder. This is what I said. I wonder, are they, it's idea, not are they, but it's idea of self-segregation? Is it about classism, or are we going back to old school 1954, 52 racism?
I don't know if Jessica heard that or not, but yeah. So
Well, now you can repeat it back word for word because you heard twice.
yeah. Um, okay. So Jessica, did you hear her? Well, you can't respond yet. But so this is how I'm going to say it. For me, like I was saying, I feel like classism is already here, has been here for forever. Racism, same thing. Now, as far as to clarify what they mean, I can't do that for them. However, um, a lot of people have taken it a different, in different ways. Whether because you're posing, is it going to be more towards classism or is it going to be towards race driven and stuff like it was 1954 back then and stuff like that. So for me, I feel I really think that I heard a different perspective because for me, if you're going to bring or allow segregation to a certain degree within communities and stuff like that, I would prefer to know where people don't want me welcome. You know what I'm saying? Because I can spend my green dollar someplace else. I literally can, and I prefer to do so when I know somebody don't want me in their space. So if you don't want me in your space, that's cool. I don't need to be in your space. I really don't. I can take my money someplace else. I would prefer to take my money somewhere else, especially when I know that I'm not welcome. Welcome to the stage, Maurice. How you doing?
What's going on, y'all? What's going on?
What the business is? What the
Hey,
business
big
is?
sexy. I ain't seen you in a while.
Love it. I wish I could see you right now. I wish. I wish.
Did you really call him Big Sexy?
She already knows. She already knows.
I sure know did. I sure know did.
Milk Dud Gang in effect.
Yeah. Oh shoot, Billy in the house.
Oh, you see Billy?
What's going on, y'all? What's going on?
What's up, Billy? The milk does in the house. The milk does in the house. Yeah.
Oh,
That's your new mating call.
Oh man.
y'all hear that? Echo?
Billy, we need you to buy her a new phone. We don't like that phone.
Is that just
Yeah, I
me
hear the
echoing
echo
or?
too.
No, that's Mrs. Phil. She always got an echo.
Oh, she messed with everybody.
That's right. Look, that's the
No, we gonna
God's
fight you.
intervening
Billy,
on
you
my
got
behalf.
headphones. Just get some headphones for the girl because she need it. Help her cover up that
So
forehead.
okay, so to
I'm sending my
reiterate,
sister a microphone with two headphone ports.
Hello? Everybody
okay,
here?
so to reiterate what the subject is about, and whatnot, since Billy is in earshot and we now have Maurice on stage, we're talking about how can we segregate to being a part of society. And the second part of it is we discussing the Department of Education and what's going on with that. But right now, um, we're just talking about segregation, the issue of segregation that Trump is enabling.
Put on mute for a minute. It's killing us. Yeah, you're gonna have to. Yeah, you go. That's better.
Hold on, because a lot of times I don't have this problem, so I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna come back. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So hello,
We here.
everybody. Oh, no echo. Okay, all right.
Yeah, it was her. It was her.
Yeah, it's
Oh, okay.
always Miss Phil's.
Oh, okay. But I see what some people are thinking. They're thinking about the fact that if you're going to push, if you're going to say, okay, we're going to allow segregation and whatnot, because I actually have to look more in depth with it and whatnot to see what his literature is actually saying and stating about it. But if you're going to do that, like for me, I would prefer like put a little red flag or a little whatever on your door or on your business or whatever the case is, letting us know that you don't like any colors. If you don't like colors, then cool. I'll take my colored money someplace else. I'm cool with that. Now, again, as long as they don't sit there and try to trample on my civil rights or my head for that matter, as long as that's the case, they're not trying to be, rude or violent towards me. That's cool if you express yourself and say, well, I don't want your kind in my establishment. Cool. All of us can take our money to the next place. It's okay. I'm not offended by that. I would prefer to know who I'm dealing with. And if that's who I'm dealing with, you don't deserve my dollar. And it's okay because it should be kind of like that anyway, because we should be trying to build up our own Black communities anyway more. That's why when I showed the video of the first Black owned grocery store in Cincinnati, and the turnout was amazing. Did you see it, Maurice?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So, but the turnout was amazing. People showed up and showed out. They showed up for that grocery store, which is pretty cool. And I think that's cool. And I think there should be more popping up like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why the lady chose this particular song for the first Black-owned gathering, but
That song
it
was
is
the
what it
worst.
is. That was cool.
There's a meeting in my bedroom. I was like, in my bedroom.
Thank you. We hear it.
No problem. I got you.
You got
Get your
some practice.
guitar. Get your guitar, Maurice. We can do
And
this.
please don't make me wait.
Morphine distracted me with fried chicken.
I
We had a whole
was
basket of fried
I
chicken.
was about to get on camera, then I forgot I got the logos on. Y'all lucky.
We over here talking about segregation. She got some fried chicken, probably some watermelon back there. You better stop. You better stop.
So,
That ain't right. That ain't right.
so
You got hungry. You got hungry, baby.
Oh,
I
she
got you.
segregated.
So the reason why I sent that particular video to Dedrick and suggested that this be a topic of conversation is because in that video, it wasn't just about opening a Black grocery store. It was about a Black grocery store opening saying we are going to self-segregate, right? That's what the video says. Pretty much, hey, government, y'all think y'all going to segregate us? We're going to segregate y'all. So it goes both ways. So, a white person might want to shop at your store, but then you're telling them, no, you can't shop at my store because you're not Black. So there we go, furthering the racism on either side. But here was my biggest thing of it. And that's where the topic comes in. What do we really have to do to completely segregate if that is something that we want to do? So opening a grocery store, don't get me wrong. I applaud it. If it was close to me, I'd go shop there and support them. They're not close to me. I'm in Virginia. They're in Cincinnati. So I'm not going to their store. But if I had a store to the equivalent of that, I would check them out and I would support them if they had the products that I needed and wanted. But when we're talking about segregation, we like to talk about or think back to Black Wall Street in the 1920s. But we have to remember that our ancestors were built differently. We're not built the same. So for me, and I'm going to say it, you want to impress me, tell me that you have a Black-owned bank, a Black-owned lumber mill, a Black-owned electricity company. Because no matter what we do, if we truly want to segregate, those are the things that we have to focus on, not groceries per se. We have to supply our own energy. We have to supply our own lumber, our own concrete, have our own plumbers, electricians that can build a community. So that was like the biggest premise when I saw the video that I wanted to discuss. Like, what would it actually take for us to segregate if that's something that we want to do?
Everything that you just said, it will take us to have all that ourselves. Now we can't have that outside of European help somehow, some way, but because they own all the banks. But we can have our own lumber mills. We can have our own energy source because we got solar energy and things like that, and other clean ways of energy. Like all of these are attainable, but you cannot obtain them without some type of outside of a raised help. Now, even with oil, you say you want to do oil or whatever, you still might have to go to Pakistan and make a nice little treaty with somebody so you get some oil. We want to deal with somebody, but can we blacks do our own treaty? I mean, our own trading? Globally, that would be nice.
Well, I think
Black global trading. I mean, black global trading sounds pretty cool to me.
one thing we just can't forget in this subject is we still in America and they got laws. The same laws that allows us to walk into any grocery store, the same laws that would keep, the white people to walk into ours and shop at our venues or whatnot. So let's not get too ahead about what segregation means. If I'm a firm believer of not reinventing the wheel. It's not necessary to reinvent. Like, this has already been tried and done by other cultures and successfully done so. One of them is the Amish. Amish are highly segregated people, completely self-sufficient, and as well as the Jewish people, especially the Hasidic Jews. They're highly segregated people. They're kind of in everything, but they don't mix or mingle or anything like that. So segregation, it doesn't mean like we're gonna try to build our own country within this country. That's gonna fail. That's gonna fail every single time. But there is the aspect of, one thing that you do notice amongst the Jewish community and the Hasidic Jewish community and the Amish community is, even though they trade amongst themselves and they build stuff for themselves, they always sell to the outside. And that's their target. That's who they sell. That's what they're making products for. These people on the outside, they can use those products as well. They always want to make products for themselves to be able to use, but they offer products and services to the outside. You got Amishes selling all types of their products. You got the Amish giving people rides on their chariots and little taxis and stuff like that. And they're collecting their money and they're using that money to support their segregated lives. So that's one thing I want to point out.
I'm so glad that you brought up the Amish, because that is actually a very good example of segregation. Where, like, for example, when I saw the Amish on their horse and buggies going to the voting polls, I knew Donald Trump was going to win, because they don't even vote. Like they mind their business, right? So again, but that was just to be funny. But like in those types of communities, and probably, I mean, I wasn't there in 1920 with Black Wall Street or anything like that, but you probably had people that said, okay, Dedrick, he's a baker and he's a cook, so he's going to be in charge of this. Maurice is an entertainer, so you know what? We always need entertainment in our life. You know what? Jessica's a stay-at-home mom, so maybe she can run the daycare. Mr. Fields is a teacher, maybe he can run the school. So that's kind of how they collectively got together back then and actually made segregation something that was more achievable, because they all work together. But now we're in a state where we have to, well, we pretty much have to rely on outside entities to provide us for things. So again, that's why I said with the video, it's like, okay, you open a grocery store, that's wonderful. I definitely applaud it. But at the same time, unless you have the Black farmer that's providing the eggs and the dairy and the produce, or you have the black butcher, then it really kind of negates the purpose, because you're still getting it from the white man. You're still giving to the government. So that's not true segregation, in my opinion. I stop there.
You ain't give me a job, so I'm gonna assign myself to marketing and advertising.
Well, I think one thing you don't want to overlook is the growth process. Growth process is not usually always smooth, and it may at times even look like you're contradicting your means in order to get to where you need to go to. Like, right now, let's say Black people don't own any of these raw material access to raw materials, because with access to raw materials, you have access to be able to build or create or do whatever it is that you want to do. I mean, so like you got all these countries, for example, and I was just reading on this country in Africa. They have a lot of raw materials, right? But they have no means or technology to actually process that raw material. So if you have no means or process around it, you have to sell it in order to get the value out of it. And then the thought process is get to that point where you can actually get the technology, get the information. But in the meantime, in your attempt to segregate, you have to deal with the people you're trying to segregate from, because they have the information and the knowledge that you need in order that so you can segregate appropriately.
But you did bring up the Amish that don't have tremendous technology, and they survive on their own. And y'all also bring up another group of people. Oh,
Hasidic
the
Jews.
Jews, sorry, the Hasidic Jews that doesn't live off of a bunch of technology. I think it's either what you just said, where you would have to connect with other cultures to build an economy that doesn't exist, and or you would have to live like the Amish off the land.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I'm not saying that Black people can't do it. I just don't think Black people want to do that, right? Like, that's a really simple life. I think Black people want to modernize as much as possible, be a competitor, be on the world stage, rather than, because Amish, as much as they're self-sufficient and they're segregated, they're not on any type of world stage. They're not competing in the world market. The Hasidic Jewish community as well, they're kind of in their own little corners and pockets, and they do their thing, but they don't really trade on the world stage. My assumption in this segregation is to be able to eventually be recognized on the world stage.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing with the Amish. The Amish have their own networks of other Amish. So it's not like they need the world. They don't need the world. They function within their own personal means. And like what was said, they go to markets. They sell outside of the Amish community to support the Amish community. Like you said, so they have their own personal networks, and those networks are as such where they can depend on each other to survive. Like I like when we saw them literally push an 18-wheeler with a trailer out of the mud with all their manpower. You know what I'm saying? They have ways of communicating with other communities and say, hey, we need this, we need that, so that their way they can continue to sustain their standard of living. They don't have a need to impress other people. They really don't. Outside of their community, they don't have a need for that. Now, when we talk about the Black community, we talking about of ego-driven people who want to impress other people, who have no contribution to their own personal life, but we want to look richer than we actually are. We want to sit there and front and flex and stuff like that, when it really doesn't really matter to anybody else. But in their minds, they think they got to have bigger and the best and the baddest, when honestly the simplest thing would work. Let's just say, and I was explaining this to my son earlier this morning. Let's just say you made $50,000 and you got a huge promotion. You got a promotion to operations manager because of how you function and how you do things or whatever. That operations manager position gave you a $30,000 bump. So now you're making $80,000 as ops manager for this small company, right? Well, a lot of black folks, what they'll do is they will up their standard of living. They'll live beyond their means when they were comfortable living the way they were living prior. But they got a $30,000 bump, so now they're going to go and move into a larger place to impress people who they ain't even invited into their house, or just to say that, hey, I got this, instead of making sure that they do what they're supposed to do with that 30 grand, invest it, create another income producing asset to add to that. But instead, they'll get all this flashy stuff, huge 175-inch TV. They'll go and get a flashy car. They'll go and get a car that costs $800, $1,000 a daggone month almost. You getting all this stuff. Now you are putting yourself right back as if you're working at Wendy's, working paycheck to paycheck, because you now have to keep all that upkeep up. Everything that you just bumped up, you have to keep up. This is the main reason why when we talk about segregation, but mindset has to happen first. You have to unclog all of that crap that's been poured into your brain, thinking that that's what you need to do. When somebody say, "Oh, you brainwashed," damn straight brainwashed. I want all that dumb stuff washed out of my brain.
Look, you see Billy's. Hold on, you see Billy's face.
Yeah, Billy
He
Beck
ready
from all that head nodding, and his eyes about to pop out every time he says something. So I want to hear what this man got to say.
I know. I'm sitting here watching him, and he's itching to talk. Hold on, y'all.
Nah, what you just said is what I say in school all the time. You know, I said, I mean, and that's what that's the issue that a lot of people have. When they make more, they spend more. You know, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you spend. You know, like you said, I tell my students all the time, if you make $1 million, you spend $1 million, you're still broke. You know, so and there you go, and that's just what it is. And like you said, and as a people, you know, and I think that's a big issue people have. They're worried about what other people think about them. You know, and that's a big issue. You know, if they don't have something somebody else has, they run out and get it, even if they go broke behind it. You know, and I tell people all the time, like say, for example, people go out and buy these fancy clothes and all this stuff, spend all this money and on clothes, $200 pair of jeans, and then they go home, they open the refrigerator and it's empty.
It's worse than that, man. You've seen these cats on living in their mama's basement with riding on brand new rims. So I mean, it gets worse than that. That's light.
Yeah, and we talk about segregating. We can segregate if we want. If we can segregate if we want. If we were to segregate and actually do that, people wouldn't stick to it because they wouldn't like that simple lifestyle. People need all people have a lot of wants because now people focus on their wants more than their needs.
Yeah, they don't care about what they need. They're trading that out. I mean, that's why I was trying to say what I was trying to say. Like the way black people are moving, unless you have that ultimate goal, because their eyes wide open. They see a lot of sparkly things. And after they've seen the sparkly thing, it's really hard to take it away from them, right? That's what they want. That's what they see. They keep chasing it. I mean, yeah, we can go the hard, cold turkey route and say, all right, everybody, put away the sparkly things, and we're going to have to deal with this dirt for a little bit. And that's fine, as long as they understand that we're going to be heading towards this world of sparkliness that's better than the sparkly thing that you were chasing out after, right? Like you can't just take away a carrot and not replace it with another good enough carrot that they want to chase, right? People don't work for no reason. So that's why I was trying to talk about this whole concept of a world stage empire type thinking. Because everybody, we compare it to Hasidic Jews and the Amish. The Hasidic Jews and the Amish, they don't want the sparkly things. They don't have any desire for the sparkly things. It's only like the Amish that have their, I forgot what it's called, the R thing, where they get to leave for a year, and if they stay, they stay. But they get to come back after they try out the world for a while if they don't like it. You know, that's the only ones that I know of that do stuff like that. But nonetheless, like I said, black people's eyes are wide open. They open up TikTok every day. They open up Instagram every day. They see the world for what it is. They see the sparkly stuff. And it's either we go cold turkey and say, all right, back to basics. Everybody grab your hoe. Everybody start farming. Everybody, you know, we're going to start sewing our own clothes. We're going to start. It's either we do that, which is crazy, I think, or we start negotiating with the people we're trying to segregate from so we can actually build the empire. That's all I'm saying.
I just want to be realistic. If it was an all black rest, like bank or whatever it is, all black, I doubt if we would have a bunch of white customers any freaking way. Like, dude, I'm just being honest. But I do want to say this. There's a nuance that we not putting out there when it comes down to the Jewish and the Amish, and that's religion, and I think that's what holds them to not really care about materialistic things.
You said materialistic things. You said their
Yeah,
religion.
I said I think their religious background makes it easier for them never to be tethered to materialistic and miscellaneous things that us, worlders would be we probably can't live without.
Oh yeah, of course, of course. I mean,
Well,
but
but hold on. No, you don't have to turn the camera towards me. They can hear me. But like we as okay, so if you're a Christian and if you read your Bible for a Christian, y'all know I'm not religious. But if you're a Christian and you're supposed to be humble, you're supposed to be, the meek shall inherit the world, and you're actually not supposed to glorify things of the outside world. So I don't think it necessarily has to do religion so much because the Christian religion teaches that as well, but yet they still chase those material things. The
They're not
Amish
real
just happen to
Christians.
get it right.
They're not real. They're not real Christians. Even what you were saying that that's the faith that one could lean on to get over that hump of materialness. I ain't say it had to be their religion. I just say a religion.
No, no, no. I was just pointing out that you have a lot of Christian people, and I've read the Bible inside and out, and I know that it's supposed to be you're supposed to be humble. You actually shouldn't wear garments of certain garments, and you shouldn't have these certain riches. And matter of fact, what one term is, it would be harder for a man
A rich man,
to
rich man to enter the
a
heaven.
rich man to get to heaven through you know what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
Then a
You want me to
camel.
say it for you?
Yes, please, please.
It's harder for a rich man to enter heaven than a camel to enter through the eye of a needle.
Exactly. So again, the Christian religion teaches that as well, but we ignore that because we're so into materialistic things. We're into looking good. Um, I'm going to say this, like when I saw that video, and let me preface this again before I say what I'm going to say, because I don't want nobody to think I'm a hater. When I saw the video of the grocery store opening, for one, I'm like, that is awesome. And I think that's wonderful. And I hope these people support their business and that they're in that community for decades, right? But the reasoning for it kind of threw me off. Because in my experience, and this is my experience in the 30 years I'll say in fairness, the 20 years that I've lived in our communities, there are about 5 businesses that last for decades. And that's going to be your barbershop, definitely barbershops. Oh, yeah. I can go back home right now and look at the same barbershop that my daddy got his hair cut at, right? Barbershops, beauty salons, clothing store, sneaker store, and clubs. Those are the 5 businesses that succeed in the Black community. Unfortunately, a lot of times the other businesses, they don't last long. And I'm not saying that to be a hater. I'm saying that to present truth.
Wait,
Because
grocery
we're so
stores is not in that lineup? I
I'm
know
sorry.
a grocery store would survive on any freaking thing in the black
No,
neighborhood.
not necessarily.
Grocery store is still
Where
gonna
they shop at?
the
Not
grocery store no
necessarily.
because what causes grocery stores to fail is not having product. It's how it's managed. That's what's
Hmm.
if it's not managed because that's a lot of product, a lot of variety of product. You got to maintain, keep fresh. You got to manage for shrink because you're gonna lose a lot of product.
You're
And
gonna lose a lot of product, but it's insurable.
no, I mean just that's part of the business is because you're gonna have fruit and vegetables, and it's gonna go bad. They're not gonna get off the shelves fast enough. But you have to buy,
Yeah, and then
buy
there
certain
is
bulk.
there's waste that you gotta create waste too. That's the thing they don't teach you, but we that'll fuck around and get us in another conversation. We don't want to go there.
Yeah. So running a grocery store is difficult. It's really
Well,
difficult.
here's the thing. The thing, you guys are absolutely right. You guys are absolutely right. But the like I said, it starts mentally because if you don't educate yourself, how do you think all of these Asian stores got into the urban communities? They studied us. That's what they did. They studied us. They
Correct.
Yeah,
studied us. That's exactly what they did. And
but what did they
what began to
study?
happen
They
is that
studied.
now they started to acclimate to how we even talk.
But what did they study? They studied that we
They
like
studied
our hair
our
done.
buying habits, our spending habits.
Right, our buying. But what does it boil down to? They're not
That's
they're
what
not opening Asian schools. They're opening beauty supply stores because they know that's where
know.
we're going to spend our money. They're opening Chinese restaurants because they know that's where we're
Yeah.
going to spend our money.
Seafood restaurants, seafood markets.
And getting your nails and your toes done. That's their basic.
Wait,
That's basically
one thing in common amongst all these things
that's
is like I said before. I'm gonna say it again.
that, that,
They are
that's what
selling
I
stuff that they're not.
that's literally what I said. They studied our buying habits, our spending habits. Go ahead,
Well, yeah,
You know,
what I
Maurice.
was saying, what I was
Go ahead.
saying is that they're selling stuff that they're not buying. Right when they sell the fake hair, they're not wearing the fake hair.
no,
When they're selling the Chinese food, they don't eat that Chinese food.
no.
So like this mentality of like we need to sell to our own. No. You
No,
need
yeah,
to
yeah,
sell.
exactly.
You
They're
need to
selling
sell to
products.
yeah, you need to sell to the people that have money, right? The number one people that have money in this country, you get mad all you want, is the white people. They have the majority of money in this country. So if you don't put your heads together and figure out what are white people buying, and try to figure out what to sell them, whether
No,
it's a service or okay,
no.
this is why I get in trouble. That's fine.
No, but but
No,
what
no.
we just named about the Chinese people, all that stuff that we just named are things like you said. They know we'll spend our money on it. All of those things were wants.
They're wants. They're not even
They're
needs.
not even needs.
It's disposable income.
I don't need to go to them to get my feet scraped. I don't need that. I don't need to go to them to get no hair either.
Okay.
So wear your own hair. I don't need that mess. But people spend a lot of money on that junk. It's a want. So y'all talking about yeah, they making money
But that's
Off of
but
our
what
wants.
off of our
my
wants.
point to what? Yeah, absolutely. That's why they have impulse buy stuff on either side of your aisle when you check it out in the grocery store. They got impulse buy. Those are not needs; those are wants, and we'll snatch them in a heartbeat. That's and a lot of the times when like to address what Maurice just said, you said, well, the most of the money is in the white community. No. Why do you think it's such a big deal for them to market to us? Our buying power is ridiculously tremendous. So when you take that away from these big box companies, it affects their bottom line. When you do that, go ahead.
Yeah. All right. our spending habits are far worse as well.
Yeah.
Is that really buying power? Let's put it together, right? There's 72% white people in this country. We got a lot of complaints.
Where you get that figure from? Where do you get that figure from? 72%.
You can Google it. You can chat GP it. It's a pretty stagnant number right now. 72%. It's pretty. I know it's pretty specific, but it's 72%. Black people is 13%. There's only 13% of Black people. The rest in there in the middle is Hispanics and all the other Asians and whatnot. So, and we already, there's already all this talk about how white people have all the best jobs. They're all getting paid the most. All this, just by pure volume alone, there's more money there. Now, are they spending their money the same way Black people are spending money? We can make the argument that Black people are not spending their money as wisely as the white people, right? I'm not trying to throw shade. I'm just trying to point out an observation. And fine, you can say that's buying power. I'm not going to argue with whether that's buying power or not. I'm just saying it's not very effective or valuable when you're trying to tap a well. When you're trying to tap a well of money,
that I can agree with.
Biggest well that you possibly can tap. And if you're tapping black well versus white well, I'm tapping that white well because it's a deeper well.
Yeah.
And we're going to try to see what we can do to shake as much money out of that as I possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they did with us.
There you go. There you go. You just hit it on the head. It's how we spend our money. And I'm Black, y'all.
No shit, really?
Look.
Oh my God.
We spend.
I'm black.
A lot of people blow. A lot of Black people blow their money on trash. I just put it to you like that, because it bothers me sometimes. I'm like, dang, people go out and buy an expensive car, and then they can't even afford to fix it. Stuff falling apart, it costs a dump load of money. Oh, I can't afford to fix it, so they just keep driving it, but just to say they got it. So that's why they tap us. That's why we spend a lot of money.
That's what that
we spend a lot. We spend a lot of money. That's why they tap us. We're foolish enough to do it. We're foolish enough to go broke. You got people who get kicked out of their apartment and they got a cell phone in their hand. They were $50 short on their rent, but they're on that cell phone. They wanted that cell phone on. They just got kicked out of the apartment $50 short, looking like a big black fool looking at the apartment door. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not thinking. It happens all the time because they want stuff.
Yeah. Because we want to look
Absolutely.
good. We want to look like we got money.
Billy, you cannot get a job without a phone, baby.
There you go. Exactly. I mean, but stuff, stuff like that. You got to call big pretty rims on it, but you didn't pay the bill on that. You can't get to work. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why they tap us to spend our money because they know we're going to do it. They don't buy half the stuff we spend our money on. They don't. They
buy Levi's.
We buy purple jeans.
That they do spend their money in disposable income in certain places. They do spend their money. They're not sitting on all of it. They're sitting on a good chunk of it because they're a little bit wiser with it. But they do spend their money. So it's about where they spend their money, getting in between that and collecting that money on the process on the way in.
There you go. And then they laugh at us.
And to address what Marie was saying, like what I'm saying, when I talk about buying power, that's cumulative. When you have the power to change things cumulatively, when, like you said, when you're not channeling that money in the correct ways, that's where the difference is. Like you said, now, when you measuring black wealth and white wealth, it's a disparaging difference. It's a huge difference because wealth isn't taught. Wealth isn't leveraged the way white people leverage it in the Black communities. You understand? It's not leveraged the same way. So sometimes, and you've heard this before, sometimes in black families, talking about money is taboo almost. You know what I'm saying? You can't make money taboo in your household. You got to talk about how to
whenever grandma gave you money. Whenever grandma gave you money, she always gave it to you like she was a drug dealer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That joke was down low. And then be like,
yeah.
But it's true. But it's true. Or that deacon in the church that give you that ball up piece of money.
Yeah.
Ball it up, go stuff it in your hand.
yeah.
Go on ahead and buy you a little something with it. Go on ahead and buy you a little something. So my thing is that we got to get financial literacy, because if your brain doesn't know how money works to begin with, you're not going to know how to multiply it. You're not going to know how to grow it. Just like when people talk about insurance, you got a freaking 2026 Mercedes Benz, but ask them if they got life insurance. They don't. Ask them if they got an IUL. They know what to do with an IUL and how to grow your money within your life insurance while you live. People don't know how to do that. They don't know how to pass it on to. I've even heard people say they don't pass their money on or don't get insurance because they don't want nobody to be enjoying their money while they dead.
Yeah, that's what do you call
Did
that?
you listen to yourself when you said that?
What do you call it? There's a word for that.
You dead.
You spiteful.
You know what I'm saying? You like that makes zero sense. But you have to be. You know what I'm saying? So and that's where the problem is within the black community, because everybody wants that microwave money. Everybody wants that right now fast money. Nobody wants to work hard. Work smart. Nobody wants to sacrifice anything. Nobody wants to have a delayed gratification so that you can live the rest of your life without debt, the rest of your life without having to figure out how I'm gonna bury myself or my mama or nobody is trying.
Right. It's all about instant gratification.
And the craziest part of it is when you try to tell them that it's going one end right out the other. What's the next best thing I'm gonna buy? What's the next thing?
Then you're gonna bad delay, man. Yeah. It's hard.
So it starts. Yeah, I know. So it starts with mental and intellectual property being switched. You got to switch it. You got to clean out all that crap that was implanted in our heads about money, about each other as black people. We have to get into communities that celebrate each other. We got to get into communities that want to grow. You got to surround yourself with the thinking that outthinks you. And you've heard this before. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You know what I'm saying? We have to all
me and what I want.
Pour in
like
each
I need
other
to live
so that we can build each other up.
I feel attacked. I feel for some comedic relief. This got real serious. I feel attacked. I don't know financial literacy, and I have a weakness for to move. You know, it's a strong weakness.
This message is for you.
I feel like Jesus is trying to tell me something.
Hold on, sis. You good. You good. Don't know. I'm not going to let these three bald-headed men bully you, okay?
I know, because it was only $12.99, and then I got the coupon for 30% off, so it was really $9.99. I mean $7.99. I got a deal. Fuck y'all.
Yeah, I feel you.
Lord, don't do this.
Look. Hold on. No, like Billy said, I'm going to have to take my credit card off of the Amazon, because every time I turn around, you got a book or something.
Yep.
You always ordering a book.
Look at
but at least I'm ordering a book.
Face, Maurice. Yeah. Look at the face. Why she said all that?
I'm just saying. There's a lot of things that I buy that I don't really need, but I'm gonna need later. You never know.
Yeah. So
okay, go ahead.
What was we talking about? Spending habits. Let's talk a little bit more.
All I'm saying, okay,
My
so let's
spending habits is a little, but I just work harder. That's all. I just do a little bit more overtime.
I've never ordered anything off of Timo. I have to be honest with you guys. I never have. It just seems like a ripoff. I feel like if I order a lawnmower,
I
I'm
haven't
gonna
either,
get.
but I'm real close. I was real close.
I feel like if I order a lawnmower, I'm gonna get like a bubble mower, like for a kid. So I'm not trusting Timu. But either
Yeah,
way,
it'll be like that.
um,
It'll be just like that.
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
like that
So
on Amazon. It's just, the only difference is the fact that you could go to any Whole Foods and return that junk. That's the only difference. There's no return for Temu. Hint,
see,
hint, Temu.
Timu, get it together.
Get it
But
together, because some of y'all stuff will be returning back to
See,
sender.
Timu is like, Timu is the,
I mean, but
but
it's one
Timu
thing.
is
Y'all
like the
think
retail version of Tubi.
yeah,
Tubi,
that's right.
like
It's
the
a
channel?
yeah, the Tubi. Yep,
Yeah,
Timu is Tubi.
yeah.
Same difference.
But
Oh,
I
y'all
know
done
you guys was
work.
talking about like
This is
buying
about rich.
expensive things, not things that cost $12.99 to $7.99. I just thought that was real funny because I was like, dang man, I think they talking about me.
Nah, I had to come defend you, sis. I look, the camera been on Billy the whole time, but I had to switch and to come and defend my sis.
Right, because $7.99 is a deal. I don't care what none of y'all say.
Right.
Right, seven
Look,
ninety nine.
Billy rolling his eyes. I'm gonna put it back on him.
Every man with sense gonna roll their eyes when they hear that nonsense.
Shut up, Maurice.
Oh man.
Don't just start your
But
stuff.
now, but you know what? But like this segregation thing though, mm, I really do think that will be hard for us as a people to do.
We got
'Cause
detox.
I think after a while people would kind of slide outside of the community to go get something that they want. Because that simple life is just not gonna work. Now for me, I could do it. I could do it.
Let's get real. I would say about 30% of all black men can do it. I wouldn't say half. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say half
black
either.
men. 30% of all black men can do it. But
Yeah,
the
I
issue
think,
is finding the women to come do it with us.
I
nah, they gonna be like, no, I ain't for this. I need some AC up in here. I don't need that fan right now. I need this, that, and the other. Just switch up.
She's gonna be cursing you out every time that something ain't working right. She gonna
Yes.
like I was in the city. Yeah, if y'all know the Bible, you remember when Moses done finished crossing the Red Sea with her. Like they just finished watching the biggest miracle of their entire life, and the biggest miracle in the entire Bible, splitting the Red Sea. They just got over to the other side, and there was like, Moses, you brought us here to die. Moses, you brought us here to die. We got nothing here. We're in the middle of the wilderness. Why'd you bring? That's what we're gonna get. And Moses was with them people for more than 40 years.
Never mind never mind the part where you walking literally through the ocean without drowning. Never mind that part.
Cedric, that was in the past. We in the present now, and we got nothing now. So let's go back. Let's go back to where we had something.
Like, why you got to bring the past? Why you got to
go
bring
back
the
in
past?
Egypt, and we're
I mean, shoot, if I was Moses, I'd feel away. Not only did y'all mugs get me kicked out of paradise, I can't go to paradise because of some issue you did, and I delivered you. I will feel away. That's a kick in the face right there.
There's already they forgot the suffering that there was. Remember, there were slaves in Egypt. They forgot.
Right, they forgot that shit real fast.
In Egypt. You got me preaching on this YouTube internet here, man. Come on. You got me preaching.
Come on, brother. Come on, get it. You don't get an amen from the can. No.
Yes.
I'm like, Lord, I'm not going to hell with Maurice. I just want you to know that I repent right now.
Who said I'm going to hell? What?
Look at his face.
Who said I'm going to hell?
He
She
was
said I'm
like,
not going to
hold
hell.
on, wait a minute.
I'm not going that
Hey.
direction.
He woke up real fast on that one. Wait.
I'm not
Yeah,
going
his
to hell.
face was like, hold on, wait a minute.
What?
Probably too far.
Forget. Before you get to the promised land, you got to go through the wilderness.
Yeah, but I don't think
And the
I don't
wilderness
think
ain't
even
comfortable.
with if you can look. But see, you can look at
Billy
what our
just
history
called
has
Maurice
been.
the pastor.
Hey.
I just want Maurice to know they never made it to the promised land. I'm just saying. Go ahead
They
though.
did make it. They did make it. Moses got irritated and he couldn't step in. They made it. But Moses couldn't step in because he got irritated with them crazy ass people that was acting up the whole time. That's why.
It was Moses' decision. I respect that.
No, it wasn't his decision. God wouldn't let him in. God would not let him in because he would have went in there and said, you know what, y'all don't know none of this. He would have messed it up. That's why God's like, nah.
Oh shoot. Oh shoot.
Lord.
All right, so
I
I
gotta
think
find that
that
meme that said because they said
Then you're on that delay, so you gotta let them rock.
I'd like to move if it's okay with everybody else because we can all have our closing opinion at the end of this segment because y'all gonna lose Billy
okay,
in
let's
a
go.
few because I know my husband and he will fall asleep on your ass. So the second part of the segment, I wanted to talk about the dismantling, not to be confused with abolishing, of the Department of Education. And that's why I wanted Billy to be here for this conversation because he is, in fact, an 18-year veteran teacher and has a lot of insight on not just being a teacher, but he works very closely with admin. He works, throughout the summer, whether it's tutoring, whether it's homebound. So he does have a lot of ties into the county and how things move. So I wanted to address the topic of the dismantling of the Department of Education and what do we think are possible negative or positive impacts with that.
Yeah, I mean, well, with that, y'all, right now, like a lot of the money doesn't even make it down to the county or city levy, however you make it. A lot of that money gets absorbed by the federal government.
Bureaucracy.
It doesn't even make it to us all the way. Those people get raises, they spend the money however they want to spend it, and it's gone. And it's definitely, well, like I said, it has its pros, it has its cons. The con is, and which one they pointed out, some of the money might not make it to the schools that are underserved. Some of that money might not make it there. It might not make it there. And some of the money might make it there. It depends. But far as the way schools are being ran right now, our educational system is broken. It's trash. It is trash.
Yep.
Education was better before we had what we have now. What we have right now has destroyed education. It's full of politics. That's why we're pushing kids out of school right now, and they know nothing. We are passing them along, and that's a fact. Because I have kids that are seniors in high school and they can't even read.
Can't read.
Like the average reading level at my high school is 4th grade, and that's a fact.
Yeah.
But they're in high school. So how did they get there?
That's crazy.
It goes back to politics. No child left behind. If you fail a grade twice, they administratively place you in the correct grade because they want to make sure they get their funding, on-time graduation. That's part of funding. If they don't get that, they don't get their funding. So they just push these kids along and they push them across the stage. Like at my school right now, if a kid fails a grade now, that means they had to do absolutely nothing. Because right now, they're giving them grades. At my school, the lowest grade you can give a kid is a 45. It's an F, but guess what? It doesn't take much to pass. You can go to sleep the whole 9 weeks and wake up the last week and do 3 assignments and pass with a D. They will not let us give a kid a 0. Y'all remember zeros, right?
Oh, zeros.
Yeah.
Zeros were the motivator, man. What are you talking about?
I don't.
Yeah.
I can't
Right now.
identify with that. I never got one of those.
That's all right.
Yeah.
We
There
got
you
it.
go.
That's a good thing.
And that's a good thing, yeah. But now that doesn't exist. Like the lowest grade I can give a kid is a 45. And every time I give a kid a 0 because they did nothing,
You get an email.
I get an email. Or either they come to me personally, Mr. Fields, this kid has a 0. What can you do about that? I don't know. What can they do about that? That's what I think. What can they do about that? Well, they have a 0. I said they didn't do anything. They didn't come to school, or they came to school, they went to sleep, or they came to class and sat there and didn't do any work. So how could I feasibly give them a 45? Well, that's the lowest grade we can give them. You need to change that to a 45. And I say, why? They say, because that gives them a fighting chance to pass. The kids know that. Yeah, the kids know that. So you give them a 45, and then they do 2 or 3 assignments, and they pass with the D. They pass. And so now we move them along.
Move along. Stupid.
That's
as
politics.
Hell.
And we want.
Stupid as hell. We're moving them along.
And
listen,
that's crazy.
Yeah, but that's
crazy.
But that's the system. That's the system that we have, and that's from the top down.
Yeah.
And if you don't follow it, you lose your job. And that's why we have what we have today. So it's horrible. It's horrible. And then you got kids who come to school and they don't even go to class. They just come to school to hang out with their friends and smoke weed in the bathroom and do whatever they want to do and fight and act crazy because they really don't have a reason to actually really go to class because they know they can pass. Because we give it to them.
I mean, everything you're saying is accurate. And as much as
that kind of stuff like that don't make sense. That makes no sense.
But it all ties it back into how our educational system is set up. It's tied into money. So people don't want to lose their funding from the government. See, now that's the change that he's gonna make. Because right now, kids getting suspended from school now or getting kicked out for the year is unheard of. Because if they kick a kid out of school, they just lost that money.
Yeah, I mean,
so
everything you say is accurate, but I think it's all stemming from one solid area, and it's the combination of parents and family in general. Right? The reason they want to kick the kid out in the year is because there's no pressure to get them back from the family or the parents.
Correct.
There's not appropriate pressure for them to actually behave and act accordingly in school. There's not enough pressure enough for them to actually respect the teachers in the classroom. And that's just because of a lack of parenting and or family, whatever's going on over there. So they realize they can't fix these parents. So what they're doing is like, you know what, let's get as much money out of these stupid kids as we possibly can. Because we need to keep this stupid system going because these parents are not doing what they need to do.
You are 100%. It starts at home. It's 100%, and that's always been my gripe.
Yeah, so it becomes an issue when you start zeroing out these kids for not doing nothing because they're gonna eat their zeros. Whatever. They didn't care in the first place.
Right. There you go.
Then they would take their zeros back to the parents. The parents don't care.
They don't care.
So you're gonna end up. But the thing is, like I'm a firm believer of if something broken, sometimes you gotta let it break all the way.
Yes.
So if people can see, oh snap, this thing is really broken, and we need to fix it. And then they actually start opening their eyes and getting drastic about what needs to get fixed. But now there's so much band-aids on this, like it's like a giant metal beam with a bunch of band-aids on it, barely holding on for its dear life.
Yes,
And
and we are about to
people
crumble.
act like, what are you talking about? It's still standing there. It's
It's
fine.
about to crumble. Yeah, it's about to crumble. I'm telling you, it's you. But you hit on the head. It all starts at home, and that's why. And to be told, that is why they're afraid to send kids home, because they know if they send them home, the parents, oh, little Johnny, go ahead. You don't have to go to school. Kick back, relax, and they accept it. And that's what's going on in school now. My school might lose accreditation because of attendance. Kids
But
don't. That's our number one issue. Kids don't come to school, and guess what? And the parents don't care.
I mean, no disrespect to your school or your facility, I think that might need to happen. It might need
Oh,
to shut down. Like, if it's a bad running school,
oh yeah.
why are we trying to keep it around?
Oh, of course, but it is, and that's why it's bad, because they're trying to keep it running. So guess what they do?
They
Yeah.
keep on the
They keep all the riffraff. They keep all, and that's why when they start working on this Department of Education, this is a pro. Those kids who come to school and fight and smoke and sell drugs, they'll put them out. And
And
I
then where
tell
they
my
go?
principal, huh?
Then where do they go?
I want to go where the hell they go.
Like, I've said this before. I'll
No,
say
they
it
did.
again. Hold on, I've said this before. I'll say it again. Not everybody gonna make it.
There
All
you
right, so
go.
here's the thing. Here's my rebuttal to this because I've been in a school. I got kicked out of school. I got expelled from school. I was in school when that. I wish I was in school when that child, no child left behind shit was around. That would have been
You
useful
were
for
in
me.
school. What you talking about?
At
You
that,
were.
well, they definitely expelled my ass and left me behind. So it didn't. It wasn't
Yeah,
affect us
you was
then.
a badass kid. You got a bunch of zeros. What are you talking about? You got no zeros. You got a bunch of zeros.
Well, no, because in my school, you could be a problem child kid and academically ace everything. Your behavior and your grades is totally two separate things.
Okay, okay.
It's two separate grades at that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I could get a 3 as bad behavior and be straight fucking honor roll though. So
yeah,
there is
but
that. And then for me, school just wasn't. I was just so disinterested because I had to live life. Like it was life that I had to live after school. So there was things like that. But when I did get kicked out of school, they sent me to a disciplinary school, and that shit made me want to go back to school.
very
So
much
they
so.
don't have those. They didn't have those. They don't have those no more. There is no such thing as CEP. There's no such thing as what was that thing called? Oh my God! It was
There was
so many
already
advocacy
alternative schools
programs for us for problem kids
Behavioral
because
behavioral
even for
schools.
or
yeah
alternative.
behavior schools,
Yeah,
alternative
I taught that
schools.
one.
Yeah,
I taught that one.
Honestly, though,
Yeah.
like in these behavioral schools, like I'm a firm of like honestly, if you can't make it in a typical public school, forget the behavioral school. You go to detention, like a detention center. Okay, like forget this behavior school. You go to a detention center because you need structure. The issue is you don't have structure at home.
Exactly.
You go to
well,
the
I had structure at home. I just was going through shit
hold on. We're not talking.
personally, like most of them are.
Hold on, we're not talking about you. We're talking about
No, I'm talking about. I generalized that. I said I was going through shit, and so was the people at my disciplinary school. They was going through psychological things.
yeah, yeah. So nonetheless, most of the time it's structure is the main issue, like familiar structure. Whatever's going on at home is a mess, and they're not being held accountable to whatever it is. So you need to put them in this detention type center, right? And they need to graduate out of that behaviorally. And while these kids are in this detention center, these parents need to be going through parenting classes because you're not going to just put this kid back into the same atmosphere and have them repeat the
What do
same
you mean?
nonsense and have
Trying
to
to find.
do everything all over again.
Where the
Okay,
hell is my phone?
if I may add, I've been quiet. If I may add to that, I understand that sometimes children go through things that they have no control over. So kind of like Morphine was saying, where she says, maybe, and you know what? And when I give the phone back to Billy, he can actually confirm this, where a kid might come to school every day and fall asleep at first period. And Billy will be like, yo, I need you to do your work. And then he'll pull him out in the hall, like, yo, what's going on with you? And he'll be like, yo, Mr. Fields, man, my mom, she be working all the time, and when I get home from school, I gotta take care of my siblings. I gotta do X, Y, Z. And then Billy will be like, okay, take a 15-minute nap, but after this 15-minute nap, I need you to get up and get this work done, right? So there's still, we need educators who can see what's going on and also empathize, but also put the fucking foot in their ass and say, okay, you got you a little nap. Now let's reel it back. Let's reel it back. I understand you're going through something. So just like, and that's why I respect Billy as an educator, because he tells me about these stories. And I know that a lot of teachers aren't like that. They just automatically send them to the office or, write referrals or put them in detention instead of actually getting to know their students. So I get what you're saying, but if the teachers and the students aren't communicating at the same time, then it makes it difficult for the teacher that actually cares to help that student. And before I hand the phone back over, I will say it takes a strong person to be an educator. They do not make a lot of money. They don't get the riches, the fame, the glory. They don't get none of that. Most people that teach, they teach because they truly, truly care about the children and their education and building something for their future. So, a lot of times we like to say, oh, well, it's the teacher's fault. And the teacher did this and the teacher did that. But a lot of times it's not that. And that goes back to what y'all were talking about when I was listening, to where it goes back to the parents. And the parents also need to be involved in their children's education, and make them know that this is not an option. You have to become educated, whether you like it or not. I tell my children all the time, when they mess up in school, I look at them. I say, whose responsibility is your education? Is it mine or yours? Mine. I said, exactly. I said, because everybody else will pass you through. Everybody else will push you through. Your education is your responsibility. You have to want to learn. You have to want to succeed. I can't make you succeed. I'm your mother, but I can't make you want to succeed. I can't make you want to do better. So that is upon you. But we also reinforce those things.
And there you go. I know that. Matter of fact, I got an example for y'all right now. I wanted to do a trades fair at my high school. A trades job, career fair for the trades. All right, because at my school, 70% of the kids are not going to college.
They're not.
30% of them are going to college. The 30% that are going to college, they're going to college regardless. But that other 70% that don't know what they're going to do, they want to go straight to work. I was trying to set them up to put connect them.
Quick interject. I'm sorry. Sorry, just real quick into question. The majority of them boys, right?
So what now?
Of that 70%, the majority of them boys, right?
It's a mix. It's a mix.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a mix. It's a mix. But I will say this: the majority of my school is Hispanic and African American.
Oh.
That's the majority. The matter of fact, there's more Hispanics than black kids at my school. They edge us out by a little bit. So it's like probably 60% Hispanic, 40% black.
And 2%
and
white.
then I'm gonna say not even 1% white. Yeah, I can go a whole day without seeing a white person at my school.
Wow.
But I put that opportunity out there for them. But this is why I'm trying to shift the way they think. Okay, that's what I've been trying to do. And I say some harsh things in class. They gag atmosphere. That's messed up, man. But I've seen a lot of things at the school, but I put that out there for them. And this is how messed up it was. I said, you know what? How would I feel if I bought a trades career fair here and the employers will come here during the school day from 9 to 12. And some of these employers will interview you and hire you on the spot. And this is for my seniors. And would you be interested in it? And some kids said yes, some kids said no. I said, okay, cool. And so my next question was, are you willing to participate? Which means you will need to create a resume, which you will create in class. You will need to dress business casual, not business professional, business casual, and be on time. A lot of my yeses turned to no's. They didn't want to put in the work. They were too lazy to make a resume. They didn't want to be on time. They didn't want to dress business casual. That was Uncle Thomas. One of my students said, "That's Uncle Thomas. Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that?" But that's why you have to shift the way people think. So I was like, dude, I'm trying to set you up with a job so you can actually get out of the situation that you're in. The situation, I asked them, do you like the situation you're in right now? And they said, no. I said, so then what are you doing? You're not doing anything about it. You're spinning your wheels. So what are you going to do? They didn't want to put in the work. That's why they changed. They didn't want to make a doggone resume or just business casual. But guess what? That goes back to parenting. That goes back to values. They don't value that stuff. And like I said, when I meet the parent, matter of fact, I don't even meet the parent. I don't even need to meet the parents anymore. To be honest with you, if I see the kid is acting crazy every day, every single day, if that kid acts crazy every single day, there's not a day that doesn't go by where they don't act right. I know something's not happening at home. Because if I get in trouble every day and I go home, I'm gonna have knots all over my bald head. Period. But these kids act up. They call my mama. You call the mom, and the mom cuss you out too. Call my daddy. He'll cuss you out too. They bag the kid up. But I'm like, yo, I haven't seen your kid in school for 2 months. What you call me for? But like I said, it starts at home. So they don't value this stuff in their children. So the very people that they honor and respect are leading them in the wrong direction. So who am I? How can I fix it? So all I do is I give them the hard truth. And guess what? They don't accept it because I'm not their parent. The people they respect are leading them in the wrong way. And that
I
is
don't
the
think they
root of our
respect their
problem.
parents, Billy. I don't think they
No,
respect their parents either.
Why would they?
you said what? You said what now?
They don't respect their parents.
They
Yeah, I don't
don't.
think they respect their parents because you said something along the lines of if the people they respect is a disciplining them, the how can I? And I'm saying they don't respect their parents. That's why you can't.
They don't. Exactly. They don't respect
And
their
let me
parents. They
say
don't.
this. And let me say this to add to all of that. Like what Jessica was saying and what you were just not saying, and it's a double-edged sword because the Department of Education has handicapped teachers from teaching in an effective manner that's going to influence those children in a positive and have any positive impact in their lives. Because and not only that, teachers literally should be getting paid what doctors are getting paid. You understand? That's what they should be getting paid. They should be getting paid 6 figures. But the problem is that now you've taken all the power away from effective teachers, and it's tiring now. You can't do anything now without being reprimanded. And do you not know that the kids see that? The kids see that, and then they're going to behave accordingly. And then now you're looking at the teachers like, well, what are you doing in the class? What are you doing? Well, I'm doing what they're allowing me to do. I'm going to work my 8 hours and I'm going home. Y'all already took the power away from me. If y'all gave me the ability to pour into these kids the way I know that is effective, that's been effective all these decades, but now you've taken away the power that I do have. My classroom should be my classroom where I get to pour into these children the way that I know that is effective. I'm passionate about bringing energy and life and a perspective into kids' lives. But you guys have just broken my whole everything because you have taken that away from me. You've taken the power that I have as an educator to pour into these children away. So what am I passionate about now? My paycheck. That's it. That's it.
But But guess what? You hit it on the head, because guess what? You know what? I'm the teacher that tells them this all the time. I tell them that the educational system is broken. And like I said, and when I explain it to them, they have this thing called credit recovery. Y'all ever heard of that?
Nope.
Well, credit recovery is worldwide, it's national. Okay. Credit recovery means that you don't have to
Yeah,
go to
I know what
school.
you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
You see, you know about it. You don't have to go to school the whole school year if you don't want to. Okay. You can show up the last literally the last 2-3 weeks of the school year and pass to the next grade. Okay. I'm giving you hardcore facts. This is national. All right.
And he knows it because he's the one that does it.
Yeah. Okay.
But
You
real
know,
quick,
so
real quick. So my kids are up in Boston,
okay.
and it's all the stuff that you mentioned. I know it's happening at your school, but it's not happening at all schools, right? Like they fail kids in the school that my kids are in, and it's a public school.
That's good.
And that's great.
They'll straight up fail kids, So it's not all schools, right? So which makes me wonder, like, oh, they're picking and choosing certain schools to do this nonsense.
Well, they definitely do that
I
at
can
my
tell
school.
you.
But guess who's at my school?
I can tell you the majority of the people in the kids' schools that I go in are white.
Is my mic on? Real quick. So, do you know the dynamic? Well, I'm not going to say
The demographics.
The demographics of your son's school.
Well, that's what I said. The majority is white.
Okay.
The majority is
Okay.
white.
Okay.
So they are picking and choosing where they're doing these schools. They're doing this stuff in the schools at.
Yeah, but
I think if y'all gonna fail kids, especially in high school, then you need to put the failures in a class of their own. They do not need to go in the same class with regular kids. If you want to have adults and children in the same class, then that's not cool.
Hold on. Watch this, Billy. What's the oldest student at your school?
the oldest student in my school is 22.
Once you said 20.
22.
22.
22.
So why are you still in school? Like, is it high school?
The high school.
I'm pretty sure they don't age you out at 22. Okay, so I know for the mentally disabled, they don't graduate them until 22.
They're not. No.
I'm just
we
putting
can
that out
appreciate
there.
that, but we're not talking about the mentally disabled.
Yeah.
We're talking
I'm
about
putting that out there just so that we can, hash
Yeah,
that out.
22.
So I'm trying to figure out the maximum age because I remember it was 20.
That is
that's the max.
They'll push them out. They'll push them out eventually. But the thing is this. You said they're not failing them at that white school. I'm gonna tell you exactly what they're doing at that white school. Yeah, they may fail them. Matter of fact, they'll fail them 1 year.
Yeah.
They'll fail them 2 years.
Yeah.
But guess what? At the end of the day, if that kid is still a ninth grader and he failed ninth grade twice, they're gonna administratively. It's called an administratively placement.
Yeah.
They're gonna place that kid, ready or not, in the 11th grade, in that right grade, so they can graduate on time, so they don't lose their funding from the government. But it looks like they're failing, but they're really not. Failure is not a such thing in the school system now. They don't allow you to fail. If you fail, that means you had to just die.
Yeah, there's definitely a lack of interventions for these kids that are not passing, right? Like, if this kid is not passing, failing year after year, there needs to be a social worker. There needs to be appropriate home interventions to figure out what the heck is going on. I mean,
I have no faith in any type of government assistance for children, whether it's foster care, any of that. I have no faith. They've never, in my opinion, not all of them, but majority of them, and because, like Billy said, it is about money, care about the kids. They don't really care.
But
So it's just brushing them off to another system.
Everything needs to happen within its context. Like, remember when did I say the social work comes out? This kid's failing year after year. The social needs to work out. The problem is before these social workers were coming out because the kid that said, my parents scratched me when they were angry at me, and they was coming out. Like they was coming up with a lot of stupid stuff, unnecessary stuff, right? Then everything needs to happen within its context, and then we can talk about the what is it the man, what's that word? They're just the oh my gosh, I can't remember my word. The credibility of the social workers, right? That's a whole nother beast to try to carve together, and how they're held accountable and stuff like that. But they shouldn't be intervening earlier than necessary. Like you don't take medication for a disease that you're about to get. It doesn't make sense.
So I'd like to present a question just so we can get kind of like, swerve back to the original question. What about the dismantling of the Department of Education do you think that is beneficial, or what do you think is harmful with the dismantling of the Department of Education? And before you guys answer, I want to make it very clear that less than 10% of Department of Education at a federal level actually goes to our children's public schools. That the Department of Education at a federal level really only deals with schools that are privatized, colleges, Pell Grants, things like that. And I also would like to add before you guys answer that those types of things are still being protected, like school lunches, that is Department of Agriculture. Pell Grants have been moved to the Department of Treasury. So, and the disabilities, the children with disabilities, they will still have access to education. So if we are saying that that could possibly be the truth, that's, this is just saying that that is what's going to happen, then what is the biggest problem with people having an issue with dismantling of the Department of Education when we see that in decades it has not benefited our children because they're dumb as shit? And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean we spend more per capita on each student, but we have the lowest rating. I think we're like 49th in literacy and mathematics compared to other countries, and we spend more money on these children. So I'd like to kind of address that as far as the Department of Education at a federal level, because you also have to remember, and then I'll land my plane, you also have to remember that every state has a Department of Education as well. So I think that is more pertinent that the states have control of the taxpayers' dollars at state level versus channeling it up to the federal level, only for them to get back pennies on a dollar when it trickles back down to the schools.
Ooh,
I mean,
there you go.
I have a firm belief that if it don't work and you're spending money on something that don't work, you need to stop spending that money. I'm looking at this. I mean, I looked it up, and it's only about 4%. The Department of Education is about 4% of the total federal budget, but it's still $268 billion. Right.
There you go.
$268 billion. Now, I'm not saying it should just get rolled back into something else and just eliminate the Department of Education altogether, but we really got to think about, let's get a little bit scientific about this, and how can the federal government actually support and solve the education crisis that we have, because the way it's being done is not working.
Correct.
Right? So, you could float the idea of vouchers, student vouchers, different schools. You can float. So there's all several different ideas. You can even key it up to the Department of Education at each state to figure out what they're going to do with it and decide. Because I mean, the wonderful thing about America, or the United States of America, is that you can run 50 different experiments all at once and figure out which one works best.
Well, the thing is,
which one produces the best crop? Unfortunately, in every experiment, there's going to be some type of waste, right? Because you're going to have states that are going to burn that money, right? And not do it correctly. But at least you know what's wrong, what's bad, and unfortunately, people are going to suffer from that. But if you don't know the direction to go, it's better than actively going in the wrong direction and trying to figure out which direction you need to go. But yeah, that's what I got.
Well, it hasn't been working in a long time. So this isn't something that's new. The textbooks are old. A lot of the times the information inside those textbooks are inaccurate. We know this to be true right now. American history, a lot of stuff has been omitted. When you compare the curriculum, when you compare the mind, the morale of the students, like and I compare that to other countries that are doing way better academically than American kids, and you look at how they're doing what they're doing, America doesn't even come close to what they're doing. The capacity that young children have to consume information is huge, but we only spoon feed our children information that sometimes really doesn't make an impact on those children. These kids, their minds are like wet cement. You can imprint whatever you need to imprint onto those children and they'll absorb it if it's taught to them. I know there are some elementary schools that are teaching calculus. And those kids are absorbing it and they're spitting it right back out. That's why the people love joking that Asian kids are so much smarter and all this other stuff. They have a strict curriculum. They have a strict decorum. They have strict rules when they go into the schools. They don't have a whole lot of kids fighting teachers. They don't have a whole lot of craziness going on and distractions and stuff like that. The teachers got to take self-defense classes just to teach a class. Like, we have no discipline whatsoever here. None. And the information that's in these textbooks are antiquated. They're old.
Mm-hmm. They are. And you talk about textbooks. It's hard to find a textbook in school now.
Honestly, no, when it comes down to textbooks, like we in 2025. Why aren't these PDFs?
No, I mean, you're right. You know what?
Like, I mean, that's easy, quick way solving the textbook problem.
But you know what?
No.
But one thing is this: we need textbooks. Though.
No, you need textbooks.
We need textbooks. I'm gonna tell you what's killing us right now. I can tell you right now what's killing us right now. Everybody is becoming brain dead. Technology. I'm gonna tell you that's the issue I have in my class. Kids don't have to think anymore. They grab that little computer. They give kids computers now. They give them Chromebooks. That's what they call them. So when we in class and I ask them to do something, they jump right on that Chromebook, type the question in and hit enter. It spits the answer out. There you go. And it spits the answer out to them and they don't have to think. I ask my kids how to do basic arithmetic. I ask no joke, this is my favorite one. What is 9 times 8? The kids sit there and think. Nobody in my whole class can give me the answer. Yes, and this is high school. 9 times 8. If I ask my son that, he'll give me the answer like this. I'm in high school. They break their phone out or they go on their Chromebook and type in 9x8, enter, and it'll say 72. And they say, oh, it's 72, Mr. Fields. And I mean, this is high school. They don't have to think anymore. That's what's killing our kids. I want to take all the computers. I want to take these Chromebooks out of my classroom.
No, you can't. No, you can't get too wild now. You can't get too wild. Hold on.
No, it's real.
Well, no, listen. I don't discredit.
Give me books.
I don't.
They need to think.
I don't discredit what you're talking about at all. I get the whole technology problem, but again, we're in 2025. This technology.
No.
Let me finish.
Oh God.
It's not going to go away. The technology is not going to go away, and it's going to be.
It's not.
And they need to know how to use it correctly. I actually get irritated at my kids when they don't actually Google something that can be Googleable. I get irritated with them when they don't use AI. When I've taught them to use AI, right? Like, this is like you're asking me this question, but you can do the research and figure it out. Now, there's also The fact that you actually have to be able to formulate these questions appropriately. AI can't do that for you. Google can't do that for you. Like, there's that other aspect. I get if you just give them paper and books, they're not going to do that. But then again, they've also gotten pretty good with the security settings on these, on the technology, that they're not allowed to access. You can make it so they don't access a calculator. They have to do the math. You can make it so they don't access certain things. They have to do it. Now, when it comes to their parents and what the parents allow them to be able to access, whether it's a phone or a computer or something like that, that's completely separate from as far as getting PDFs on a piece of technology that the school issued for the kid to access to be able to do his work. That's different.
Do you see my face right now?
I know you was in pain, so I had to stop speaking.
It was I'm in pain right now.
I hear you.
So he's not saying to completely take technology out of their hands. He's saying that technology is too much of a crutch for them, which I agree with that part. So I make my boys read. I don't give a damn if it's instructions. If I say, okay, I bought a rack and we're going to put this rack together. You might look at it and you might think you know how to put it together. And I'm like, no, son, I need you to read the directions. When I was an employer, I can't tell you how many times let's say the lights went out, right? And a person's, we trying to get the last little bit of people out before we close the store. And we actually have to do math by hand. We have to think. We can't just type $20 into the computer and it tells you how much to give the customer back. No, you actually have to think. And I can't tell you how many times I had to do the math for them. If she gives you $20 and the total was $250, how much are you supposed to give them back? And they were fucking clueless. No, because of technology.
But now,
hold on, wait. So that's the point that he's making, where he's saying, bring back textbooks, let them read, let them learn, let them think. Because right now the computers are doing all the thinking. My niece, didn't Sarah do a whole paper off of AI in college? Did a whole paper off of AI. All she did is say, hey, AI, what is blah, 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 blah. And it pretty much wrote her own damn paper. The whole paper. What's the point? She didn't learn anything.
You don't think I addressed that in everything I said?
No, I don't.
Yeah, because you weren't listening halfway through.
I was too listening.
All right, I clearly said when you hand them this piece of technology that's issued from the school, you can limit their access to the calculator, to AI.
But they don't.
Oh, so you're not listening still. I'm trying to finish. You're not listening. I'm saying they can. I didn't say they do, they don't. They can. They can do that. It is possible. They're choosing not to do that, which is the problem, not the technology.
No, it's not.
No,
it's not
the technology. They're choosing not to limit the access to certain computers.
Billy, do you choose not to limit the access to computers?
Did I say him? Did I say the teacher?
No, I'm not saying you said him. I'm asking him as a teacher. So are there sometimes, let me put it on him. Are there some times where you'll say, I have this project. This is what I want y'all to do. But you cannot use technology because I actually want you to use your brain.
Do I do that?
Yes, do you do that?
Oh yeah. I do. In my class, I do that. I told them, yo, put that junk away.
Hold on, but no, there's a part 2 to that.
Let me ask.
Wait. Now, let's say, and you've told me this before.
What?
Let's say one of your administrators walk in or something like that, and you're not doing it according to how they want it done in technology.
I've got in trouble for that.
You were in trouble.
I've done it. And guess what? When they come in, I get in trouble for not letting them use the technology.
All right, let me ask the untranslated question. Because the way she translated my question is off.
They call it 24th century technology. That's what they call it.
I'm saying if the schools and whoever's responsible for doing that, whether it's a technology department, would issue technology to the kids that were limited in their ability to access calculators, AI, or a certain level of internet. And all they could access on them was PDFs that they can get whatever the reading materials necessary for them to read, and any type of the whatever you would get from a textbook. That would be a way that they can get a high access level of textbooks without actually having the actual books, because the books are expensive. Where you can get,
I know, and that's
where you can get
But
copies.
that's
of
not what they're
PDFs.
doing.
Hold on, Jessica, I ain't done. I'm trying to get my question out now. They're trying to get the access to all this stuff. They still are familiar with the technology, but they don't have all the distractions that
Right.
cause the problem in the technology. Now, if they were to do that, would you be more apt and willing to, like, oh, this technology is actually good?
If they did
Yeah.
that, but then they're not doing it.
This is all if. This is all if. I
Right.
didn't say this is what they're doing, because I know what they're doing is wrong.
Right.
I'm fully in agreement in that. I'm saying if they were to do that, this technology would be a blessing, not a burden.
Of course.
That's
But
what I was
yeah,
saying.
of course, yeah, definitely. See, but the thing is this: as far as technology, when in my class, when I say kids, put the Chromebooks away, put the phones away. This is what we're doing today. Yo, they're lost. And I tell the students, I'm afraid right now because y'all are gonna be the ones that take care of me.
But
when I get old. Yeah, and they said, go ahead, Mr. Fields. I said, I'm for real. Like, yo, because they're lost. They don't know what to do when you take the technology out of their hand. It's a lost game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's
Like, technology has become an unnecessary crutch, and it's bad. It's really bad.
It's really bad. It's like Pac-Man when they lose a game. Game over.
But
yeah.
And they don't know how to communicate.
Technology could be used to actually benefit the city, especially in these the least funded schools or whatever. They can't get access to the stuff that needs the access. It's a cheap way to get access to quality stuff, and you can limit it so that they can't abuse it and be lost in it and be used as a crutch.
Right.
There is a way. It's not out of this world to do that. Because they're already providing the technology anyway. It all comes down to actual programming it appropriately so it does what you want it to do. That's what technology is about. So to say that technology is the problem, no, the lack of limitations on technology.
The use.
Yes.
But the use of it. But there you go. And that's the issue. I mean, schools now, they're encouraging kids to use Chat GPT.
But I mean,
they're encouraging it.
I was gonna say, well, but hold on. But we're talking about the same people that will email Billy and say, "Oh, I know you haven't seen this student all year, but I need you to give them a 45 so they have a chance." And these are the same people that's talking about using technology to dumb down our children.
Yeah, but we don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. Like, there's plenty of good baby in there. Technology is a good thing if used.
Technology is a good thing, but it should not be the only thing.
I don't think, to be honest with you, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think technology should come into schools until they get to high school. Call me crazy. They put technology in these kids' hands as soon as they walk through the door. They got them doing basic arithmetic with calculators, the Chromebooks, and they don't know how to do it. I have 12th graders who don't know how to add and subtract. Facts. I'm talking about I could put 10 minus 20 on the board and they're like this. Yes, I can't make it up. They're stuck.
But those examples you gave me was using technology as a crutch, right?
Yeah, they're screwed.
That's one thing I'm fully against. We don't use technology as a crutch. You gotta be able to.
We don't use it properly.
Yeah.
Yes, technology.
I'll add that. Like, put it in their hands too early. Like, it's context. Context is important. Like, yeah, they need to learn how to use a calculator and to be able to learn arithmetic at a certain point in time. But you need to know how that works before you put it in the calculator. You know,
right.
Tool but it's not replace. It doesn't replace your ability. Like let's
Exactly.
That's
like,
all we're saying. Is
Yeah,
that's all we're saying. Is that
yeah.
no, technology is a great thing, and I wouldn't even want my children not to be technology,
savvy. Yeah,
technology savvy, because I know that's the direction of the world.
that's the world.
But I also want them to know, if God forbid the lights go out and the electricity is gone and there's no Wi-Fi and there's no phone, that you can figure out some shit on your own without Googling it, without trying to get a calculator or anything like that. And I think that's a lot of times where we miss the mark, where our kids at this point, they're so used to pulling out their phones or pulling out their Chromebooks and just typing in a question and then getting the answer, and they're dumbed down.
It's over. I'm telling you, if we lose if we took technology out of the school right now for literally for 1 week, they will see how dumb our kids are.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you. Like I said, I have kids. I mean, it will be over. It'll be a national disaster. It will be all over the news. I promise you.
Under the assumption that they don't already know they're dumb, man. They know they're dumb. Trust me.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I mean, oh yeah, of course they know. They do. They know that.
They know they're dumb already.
Yeah,
That goes back to the point of the Department of Education.
Department of Education.
And a lot of these,
I got in trouble for that.
So let me say this right quick. Let me say, because I don't think he'll say it until I say it. A lot of teachers' hands are tied because of politics and the federal level of it. So as he stated earlier, so you can have a school of 2,000 people, right? 2,000 students. And you can have 30 kids who are causing mischief. You can't put those 30 kids out because it's political and no child left behind, or we gotta meet our fail pass ratio. We need the head count, because if we don't have a certain head count, because these kids are registered at our school, so if we have 30 kids missing, they're gonna start looking at us and start investigating us. This, like, the political aspect of education is really deep, and people don't really know how deep it goes when it comes to federal levels.
It's tough. Y'all, it's really tough. And she just brought that up. I give you a real example, just to kind of drive it home. I'm the department chair for my department, CTE. So I sit down with the administrators. I sit down with school board members. These are the people that cut checks, for the whole county. They're the one that they meet with the Department of Education. I'm sitting with these people. And matter of fact, our last meeting, they pointed out that at my school, we had 67 fights. Okay? We had 67 fights. And this was by
1 year?
Huh?
It's in 1 year?
No. This was by
not even the whole year.
Not even the whole school year. We had 67. Less than a year. Yeah, less than a year. We had 67 fights.
Mid-year wrap up, we had 67.
That was by what? January? That was January. We had 67 fights.
How about mid-year?
Yeah, mid-year. Yep, mid-year. And so when they were giving us the stats, because they're big on data, I said, okay, all right, 67 fights. They said, this is down from last year. And they were like happy about it. I said, oh, hell no. So, and so I said, well, I asked them a question. I said, well, how many of those fights were repeat offenders? And they said 32. So that means your 67 fights came from 32 repeat offenders. And they said some of those kids had 3 fights. Okay, 3 fights by mid-year. So that means you put them out for 2 weeks, they came back, they fought again. You put them out for 2 weeks, they came back, they fought again.
You know what's playing about the Lean On Me movie?
Yeah. There you go. Exactly. There you go. Exactly. And guess what? I'm not gonna lie to you. My school is almost there. And they just fight. And I told them, and they said, what can we do? And they said, what can we say to the parents? That's what they said. What can we say to the parents to get these kids to stop fighting? I said, what else is there to say? They've told
Yeah.
you. They've told you. I said, I will look that parent in the face and say, look, your kid will get one fight. He get that one fight, I give that to him. If he gets in a second fight, he gone. I said, that's what you need to tell him and be done. And they was like, oh, we can't do that. We can't do that, Mr. Fields. We can't do it. What you mean we can't do it? And guess what it went back to? Politics. Department of Education. They won't let them.
Politics.
So I said, y'all gonna let 32 kids run the school. That's what you told me. And we got a school of 2,200 kids. You're gonna let 32 kids destroy the school, smoke weed and fight and sell drugs all day.
It don't take much. It don't take much to mess up all.
It doesn't.
It don't take much.
It doesn't. And
It
that's
really
what's running our
doesn't.
school right now. That's ruining our school right now. And they talking about they can't put them out. Put them out. What you mean? The parents aren't doing the job. That goes back to parenting. And I know some people say, hey, kids got stuff going on. Guess what? I've heard it all. I've heard kids come to school and they're all hot and mad and upset because their mom's a crackhead and she didn't come home last night. I've heard it all.
They got real reasons, but
They got good reasons to be
they
mad.
got real
You
reasons.
know, but
But
guess what?
they belong in a detention center nonetheless. You put them in a detention center where they get their education, small classes,
But-
real tight structure, and then in the meantime, their parents are going through some type of parenting class or trying to figure what the hell's going on in the house that's allowing this kid to act up the way they're acting up.
But guess what? I
I
presented that to
never
them.
did. I never did get in trouble for fighting, and I don't punish my son for fighting either. But he's not a big fighter. Like for example, there was a kid that was bullying him. He told the teacher. Teacher seen it. Really ain't do nothing. Nothing happened until my son decided that he wanted to fight back. And the reason why the teacher thought that this was so alarming because he's such a quiet kid, he keeps to himself, he's highly intelligent, all that other good stuff. And if he's all these good things that you say he is, which kind of grind my gears because I know he ain't that damn good. If he's all these good things, then why aren't you listening to him when he's saying this kid, this badass kid that don't got good grades, is fucking with him? And now that he told his gangsta ass mama that don't have nothing. And when I mean nothing, I have no good advice for this. My advice is beat his ass. That's not good advice. That's bad advice. That's very bad advice, YouTube. That's very bad advice. So my
That's
advice
good
is
advice.
bad as hell. I'm going to tell you to go stand up to your bully. But the real advice is to go tell a teacher,
No,
go
it's
tell
not.
a principal, all
Stop
that
it.
good things.
Stop it. That's
Hold
not
Stop
on.
good.
what?
No,
So,
hold on.
How you just stop what I'm saying?
my bad. My bad. Go
Right?
ahead. Go ahead.
You're so
Look,
rude.
look.
No, let her
Morphine,
finish. Let her finish. She was rocking.
morphine.
I interrupted her. Let her finish.
She was absolutely correct because me and Billy say the same thing. I
No.
do not send my child to school to be anybody's punching bag. If
Yeah.
they are being bullied, they have full immunity if they unleash a can of whoop ass on the person bullying them. I will pick them up from school and I will take them to Starbucks, and then they can come home and play on their video games. Okay. Now,
Because I'm
I
not going
do
to do
say,
none of that. But wait, I'm not finished with my story. So
okay,
she calls me and tells me that, they had a mediation with my son and the other kid. They not talked it out, things of that nature. But she does not condone violence in her class. And the way that my reacted towards the affliction, that's what you call it, the way he reacted towards it was very alarming. So I said, was it alarming when that kid was trying to follow him home? Is it alarming when that kid came to my mama's house and kicked her door in? I got him on camera. Is that the same kid? Because I want to come to the school and kick his mama in her ass. Listen, I just don't have this thing of when good kids decide to turn around and whip the bullies behind, that it's an issue. Because clearly he ain't getting his ass whipped at home. I ran my plane.
All right. We,
no,
we, we,
and you're
land- we
absolutely
landed
right.
with you. We all landed
No,
with you because we done with that. That was clear.
yeah, that was that. No, you by all rights, you did the right damn thing. Look, I'll tell you a short story. Because I like to send Billy to school when there's problems, because it's this big 6'3" man in a suit, and he's a black father, and he comes in with his Chesterfield County badge on, so they don't even know who he is. Like, he could be from central office, they don't know who the hell he is. So I always send Billy when there's a problem. And Billy even said one day, and I went with him though that day, but I was quiet. And Billy was like, yo, like, we got a problem going on with bullying with my son. And I'm just letting you know that I've given him full permission to whoop his ass if he comes back in this space again. So I suggest you talk to whoever that is. And they were like, well, Mr. Fields, but you're an educator and you know how this goes. And you know that if your son fights, then he's going to get suspended. And Billy, like, he didn't miss a beat. He was like, I know what your policy is, and I'm telling you what my policy is. My policy is that ain't nobody going to put hands on our kids. And they are to defend themselves. And they sometimes don't have time to go run to a fucking administrator or a teacher to tell what's going the fuck on. So they're going to defend themselves, and then I'm going to pick them up. And matter of fact, that's when I chimed in. I said, and as a matter of fact, when y'all call me to pick them up, please make sure you have all their work together. Because if I have to sit here any longer than I really need to, I'm going to have an attitude. And it's not going to go well. But again, this was a bullying situation.
Yeah, this was a bullying situation. I mean, I can say a lot of my, I mean, we was talking, last time I got the phone, because I stepped away from the phone. But last time y'all guys was talking, Billy brought up uh, and the kids fighting. I got a proposal for that. Why don't y'all set up a boxing ring in PE and let them
They
fight
they already took out
in the
dodgeball.
ring?
They know where hell they're gonna put a boxing ring in there.
Man, these
I don't
snowflakes
know. We
ain't
stopped playing dodgeball a long time ago.
these snowflakes. We can't do that with these snowflakes.
Well, we talking about our Black Utopia. We could do that in the Black Utopia, and the black and brown one anyway.
True. But it ain't happening in a lot of places. Like, for example, my boys, William and Ethan, they actually go to a predominantly white school right now because of where we live. And they run across issues, and I have to have like some very deep conversations with them, and to try to make them understand that they're just different, and they're not going to be accepted by everybody, and just not so much like keep your head down, because I never tell my sons to keep their head down and avoid shit, but I do tell them, like, hey, if you can avoid conflict, avoid it. If you need to fuck somebody up, fuck them up, and I'll come get you with pride, and we'll go to Starbucks and get you your fucking latte, and then we're gonna come home and chill. But again, it just kind of depends on different dynamics too of the schools. My story is a little different. And I will say this, I want to add this just for that purpose. I know it because I lived it. I lived it growing up as a biracial woman in the east side of Buffalo, New York, where the majority are black people. So I got a lot of heat for not being completely black. And my children also get that, um, regardless of what school they attend, whether it's an all black school or an all white school, or predominantly, I should say. Now, but I will give credit that the predominantly black school, I never had issues with my children. When they shifted to the predominantly white school, that's when I started to face issues, as far as like bullying and fighting and conflict. And it's usually a white person, another white kid.
I want to send my son to a nine or a mixed school because when he was in the mixed school, it was a little better. Taken away from that, it was Catholic, and my son does cartoon illustrations. So of course, they thought that shit was like mad demonic. So, but take away from that, it was the kids. was so different. He was a they wanted to look at the stars and the moon just like him. I think even I want to. It's two different sides of that coin. Where Jesse like, yo, listen, I want to put him back in a black school, and I'm like, yo, my kid is having major issues in this black school. I want to put him in mixed school.
Yeah. So again, I wanted to. I'm so thank you guys for having Billy today. He's gone for the night. He said, "I'm tired. I'm going to bed." So y'all lost Billy. So y'all got me now. But I'm glad that he was able to come and at least shine some light on the inside because again, he's not just a teacher. He works very closely with the administration. Hell, they want him to become an administration, a part of the admin team. They want him to become a principal. And every year they offer him and they offer him and he always rejects it because he's like, I'm not trying to get into the politics. I'd rather be in the classroom with the students. That is where I have the biggest impact. So, you know, when I celebrate or when I say something about Billy, it's not just because it's my husband, but because I know his heart and I know what he does is genuine. I mean, he could take a position for what, 3 times the money, right? But he doesn't want to do that
Well,
because he'd rather be with the kids and teach them and bring them up.
Oh well, you
So
answered my question. I was about to ask why, but you just answered it.
yeah, he doesn't want to. They ask him all the time because he works so closely with them. Like he's always at meetings with the admin, with the central office, and things like that. And he's made teacher of the year. Like what shit? He been teaching 18 years, 9 years. He's made teacher of the year. Proud of him. Um, but again, it's like he prioritizes what he thinks is important. But the biggest thing, which is what I wanted to point out and why I wanted to have him on here, is that it's because he doesn't want to get involved in politics and to show how deep politics really runs rampant in the educational system.
Yeah, I agree with Billy. We don't need politics in our education system, and the teachers aren't allowed to teach the way that they need to teach. I do agree with Maurice with certain parenting classes, but then I'm gonna argue who the hell was teaching these parenting classes and what they teaching.
True.
Um,
Well, I mean, whatever it is, it's got to be better than whatever they were
right.
doing, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's what it comes down to.
I mean, he said whatever. You were so accurate. That was
and
accurate.
then and then here's here's the other issue. The other issue is a lot of these individuals are not going to admit that they got a problem in the first place.
Well, that's
Because when
fine.
you start questioning people's parenting, they get offended.
No, I mean, it's fine because they got to go through it anyways because they got to pass the class. You want your kid back, right? Your kid locked up in a detention center, right? Like, if you're not going to do it for your kid, what are you going to do it for?
My mama would have left my ass right in the detention
And there's
center.
going to be a lot of kids that are going to be left. There's going to be a lot of kids.
I
You
Like,
agree.
done left my ass right there.
I
Like, cause
see,
you could have did this at home, but you didn't. Now we hear it. You gonna left there.
I see you
Where
when
you
you're
gonna be?
18. I see you when you're 18. I'll visit you on
Right.
your birthday.
Yeah, but just you on, visitation days and that little ass, and I couldn't even blame her because a lot of my behavior problems was my fault. Like, she ain't do nothing to make him right. She tried to make it easier on me. Now I ain't gonna say that's for all these damn badass kids. I'm just an exception to the rule. But yeah, if they mama anything like my mama that tried and
Mhm,
she can't do no more,
mhm.
yeah, they gonna leave that ass. That's what they should do. You should leave them right there. Because clearly you cannot help.
I mean, there's no easy way. There's
Yeah.
zero easy way. Every which
No.
direction is gonna be
No.
a problem. So,
Yup.
because everything I'm thinking about, like the method I thought about, is gonna let these parents off the hook. Like, I don't gotta take care of this child that I didn't want, but I was ashamed to say that I didn't want. They're off the hook now.
But can we also let's change it for a second. Can we also agree that maybe sometimes parents don't know, um, how can I put it? Maybe they're too busy. I know you're gonna say I'm making excuses,
I'm
but
not. It's a
but
real
here's the thing. But no, because I have a addition to that. Well, now in this day and age, like for example, I can check my son's progress via Parent View,
yeah.
right? I can go on there every week. I can go on there every day.
Yeah.
I can text their teachers. Like we just have too many options right now to not be involved. It was different back in the days when we didn't have all this technology.
Listen, my kids are in Boston. I know all their grades.
Exactly. Like
I keep in touch with all their teachers.
right.
Like
All of my children's teachers have my personal phone number. They have my house phone number. I reach out to them and say, hey, if there's ever anything going on, please contact me. And I check their grades and their progress. I can see, oh, he got a missing assignment. Hey, why you missing this damn assignment? Get your ass down here and do this assignment, right? Because of technology. So, when parents use the excuse of, they don't know, we're in a time frame, and Billy's here for a second, and I do want him to verify this, where we're in a time frame where there's really no excuse for parents not to know. So I was just saying, Billy, real quick before you go back in, like we have things like Parent View, where we can track our children's progress, their grades. So is there really a real excuse for parents not to know what's going on with their kids' education?
No, not really, because you can keep up with it in real time.
Yeah, we got that same thing, Jesse. It's called Class Dojo. But if you really want to see everything that your kid is doing, you gotta pay for that app. You gotta pay into the app.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, we got Class Dojo
bootleg.
too.
Your district bootleg as hell.
Yeah, but you
I
but
know,
check
man.
this
I
out.
gotta get out of Philly, man. I gotta get out of here.
Can we? But check this out. I do this every so often anyway. But next week when we come on this call, I'm actually going to do this in class. I'm going to, and I'm going to give you the data too. I'm going to do a technology detox in my class. Okay, that means they're not going to touch any technology. Okay, I'm going to make them write. I'm going to make them do math.
Right.
With no technology, no calculator, no nothing.
What?
And
What
I'm
do I
gonna
do with this?
show you how bad it is. I'm gonna show you how bad it is on your next show. If y'all want to see, come tune in next Thursday, and I am going to show you some trash.
Yeah. No, we like seeing trash.
Can I tell you this, Billy, before you leave? I don't know how people will perceive this as me being a bad parent or not, but my 14-year-old don't really know how to use a calculator like that.
No, that's great.
That's great.
That is great.
He's happy about that.
I don't know if this, because I just never really told him how to use it like that.
That's great. Thank you.
I would love to teach your son. So
my son is 14 and he is a teacher's dream. He can act a whole ass in class and they be like, AJ ain't do nothing. He was a good child.
And don't let look.
He's a teacher. It's fun.
That's why you're getting bullied. That's exactly why you're getting bullied.
Listen, I've known I've known Morphine for what? Since Momo was born. That's when we started in the chats and stuff. What I can tell you is that people are a reflection of their kids. And I've seen videos of her kids. I've seen pictures of her kids and her accomplishments with her kids and her kids' accomplishments. She has good kids. Period. She has good kids. Yeah, they do some dumb shit. I got good kids and they do dumb shit because they kids. But overall, she has very good kids. Very smart.
No, let's give credit where it's due.
Don't ask me how that
well
happened.
raised.
It was all the angels. Yes. I don't know how that happened.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
Listen, like I said, you gotta give credit where the credit's due. The kids are well raised because we know kids.
That's right.
We know
Thank
kids
you. Thank you. They are
because we
very
know
well
we
mannered.
know what poorly raised kids look like.
Well, I
So when you
think
see a
Jesse,
well
I
raised
love
kid,
the fact that Jesse said that because in these back chats and then maybe across social media, because I know social media, I see my behind everywhere. In the way that I talk, the way that I am, they will associate my children as being ratchet,
Nope,
and they're not.
they're not. Right. Now, Morphine might act ratchet sometimes, but her kids ain't. Hey.
Yeah, shit.
So so
Sometimes
but
every
I
millisecond,
said
I'm about to say something ratchet. I say no.
sometimes.
yeah, it's
Shit, sometimes I act ratchet, but you ain't gonna catch my kids acting ratchet.
They got to be a better
Wait,
reflection of
Jessica
you.
know how to act ratchet?
Yes,
Y'all
you got to
getting
be in the Dedrick. You got to catch her in action in the back chest, man.
well,
Yes.
Hold on, Billy. Do I act ratchet?
see,
she
I
does
can't.
act ratchet sometimes. She
Listen,
can be very
I
ratchet.
can't even joke about that. I got too much trauma related to that.
So much trauma.
Listen,
I can't joke about that. Like y'all having fun about it. I can't have fun with that.
listen. Don't let this light skin fool you.
You get it.
The,
All right.
I be in the back chat like Jessica.
I be trying to be nice.
Yeah,
You
you
gotta call
try.
her by her full
The
name.
fact
Like
that you
she
have
ain't
to
even
try
Jessie no
is what
more.
we have a problem with, Jessica. You have to try to be nice.
All right, y'all. Listen, talk about. Okay. I gotta get these sponsors in.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. That's 216. Okay.
Oh man. So
You.
that's too funny.
Oh, okay.
Too early.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay. All right, there we go.
Nope, you on
So,
mute again.
Get it together.
yeah,
Do I need to do it for you? Do I need to do it for you?
It has the clear.
Today's sponsors is the great Dr. Rhonda L. Lawson, who you can come to for all your literary needs. Sign up to www. That's www.drlawson.
No, MTW. Come on now.
Right.
Get it right.
For all your literary needs. And then sponsored by Night. Hold on, let me finish. I want to finish because it's funny. I want to finish. And then you got me, Mr. Crave's Cookies, where it's a potted in your mouth.
Where did she read?
I almost spit all over my keyboard. I almost finished my whole keyboard.
Go ahead.
She can't even get through it.
She took all the smoke out of you, man. It's messed up. That's messed up, man. Like,
That was
great. That was all the steam. That was all the steam. And you can find me on Instagram at Mr. Craves Cookies and whatnot. So yeah, go check me out and whatnot. I'm always surrounded by cookies, y'all. Just go ahead and get your orders in. You know what I'm saying? I get them to you. Miss Fields tasted them. I think Maurice, you had some before, right?
And now we have to go over to Maurice. Maurice, tell them what you're about.
all right. Come check me out at Maxi Studio Music, where I got some fresh tracks. Come check them out. Let me know what you think. Some beautiful music, some instrumentals that I've put together. Yeah, check out my channel. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, and comment. All right.
And that would be M.
Oh
yeah. M-A capital X.
You know better than me now.
Capital X.
S capital X I.
And check that spelling. S-I.
I love y'all.
All right.
And last but
all right.
we can't forget we Miss Maureen, Miss Morphine.
I know we got Miss Morphine up here today.
You better tell her where they can find you, girl.
Child.
Y'all can find me at More Contentious Media with my along with my co-host, the average black man. We're gonna be coming back with some more shows. It's not just gonna be our shows. He coming up with his own show. It's about beats. He gonna be making good beats and some bad ones. Also, a shout out to the Bar Reloaded, which is again my sister network. They're gonna be coming out with day shows tomorrow. Make sure y'all check that out, man. We got Honey and Shep Mac coming up here reviewing some of the old debates, from the debate community. And I might show up tomorrow, but y'all know I'm gonna be at work, so I'm gonna do the same thing I did today. Thank y'all for watching.
Making fried chicken in the background.
Look, you want that fried chicken? Don't be mad.
Yeah, why do you think I keep talking about it? Like it's messed up.
That shit
Right,
made me
right.
hungry. Okay.
He hating on that fried chicken, yo.
I'm
You
telling
lucky
you,
I ain't had no watermelon and
I
grape
ain't gonna
juice,
eat
bruh.
it.
If I had watermelon and grape juice, this would have
Grape
been a
juice,
whole.
yeah.
Lord have mercy. And last but not least, we got the amazing, Miss Beloved mom and awesome wife, Mrs. Field. Yes, you see her. You see her.
There
You
it is.
see the light skin
Don't believe
tits.
that smile one bit. Don't believe that smile.
See, why you
There,
always
believe
want to
that.
mess up my
Believe that
slogan?
face right there. Believe that face. That's it. That's it. That's it.
Because it's you. It's you always messing up my stuff. I was real happy, and then you messed it up.
You still happy? Stop playing. You know you're happy. Look at you.
I'm happy. For me, it's just yes. Please go and support my sister Morphine. Known her a long time. They have good content. I'm waiting for them to start theirs back up too as well, so I can be a part of that. I never miss their shows. So when that happens, please, yes, join. And come see us every Thursday. And you got to see Maurice too, because he's here every Thursday. And I'm sorry about that, but it just comes with the package. It's a package deal that we got to deal with Maurice. But I love Maurice, and that's all I got.
Yes.
Treat me like treat me like a stepchild. Like he's messed up. Just messed up.
Oh man.
You know you're not gonna get away with not getting nothing today.
I'm just saying. I just making observations. Feeling stepchild.
This is a good week. Like I think the week before last was a bad week. So like we had a good week. This was a good day.
It comes and goes. I roll
What
with it either
happened
way.
last week? You know what? I'm gonna wait till after the show.
Yeah, wait till after the show. Lord have mercy.
Man, listen, it was a really good show and stuff like that. So we're gonna end it out with some closing remarks and stuff like that. You can start out, Ms. Morphine, since you are one of the newest stage members and whatnot. Share your thoughts about however you want to share your thoughts to close us out.
My final thoughts on today's topics about the educational system with them badass kids, and then we started talking about self segregation. I don't think that benefits us black folks. It might benefit them other folks, but just not us. And as far as some badass kids, what they say, what's the Bible verse? Spare the rise for your child. Start whooping more ass, people. Start whooping more ass. Whoop more ass. Make America great. Whoop more ass.
It's a mean tagline right there.
Oh man.
I'm about to make a hat. Hold on. So what should we call it, Morphine? We're gonna do this together.
Magwap.
What would it be? Right. Make ass whoopings
Great again.
great again. Yeah, we're gonna make that hat.
Mauga.
I'm about to hit you with that mouth one. If you don't watch your mouth.
Boom.
Your kid acting up, you go get your hat.
Oh man. Hey, they'll
Your
sell.
kid acting up, you throw your hat.
They'll sell.
They
will sell.
Oh
They will
Make
sell.
ass
They will
whoopings
sell.
great
All right, Marie.
That's the black signal right
Go
there.
ahead,
You throw your
Marie.
hat up in the air and they know that it's about to go down.
I'm
Yeah,
about to make some money off of this. Go ahead, y'all.
yeah, no, I mean,
I
my
want my
wrap up
30%.
is
I got you, baby.
the same stuff I was saying earlier. I mean, if the plan is to segregate, um, but it makes no sense to reinvent the wheel. People have done it successfully already, so we need to learn from people that have done it already successfully and figure out how to get if what they're doing looks like something that we want to do, and then follow the lead, and then make a nuanced changes to how we want it to look like. But certain things are going to conflict in that, so we got to decide which way we want to go. As far as the Department of Education, what did I quote? Like $268 billion. From what I hear, only about 10% of that actually makes it out to the states. If you divide that amongst the 50 states, I think it works out to I think the number was $500 million per state. So that money cuts down real quick. So it makes you wonder what they're doing with the money, right? They're not doing. I mean, I've always been a high skeptic of any type of charity because usually that money gets wrapped up in bureaucracies and overhead and lights and like even when you send money off to a different country to when they say spend $2 or whatever and you'll be able to feed this many, it's all bull. You're paying somebody, the CEO of that thing he's collecting $365 million or $365,000 a year to run the whole thing, and then he's got to pay the people to run it, and then he's got to pay the shippers to get them there. There's a lot of overhead. So I'm always a firm believer of localizing any type of crowdsource or community supports, and that's even money for education. You want to keep it as local as possible because the more you try to ship it out across a large distance, more and more money gets used just to get the money across. Anybody who's ever used Western Union knows you got to pay to send the money.
That's right.
And what was the last but not least? What we were talking about? Oh yeah, these badass kids.
We just keep coming back to the badass.
Listen, I will always and forever put the parents responsible for kids. You have great kids, you get the credit. You got bad kids, you get the credit. Like you don't get to escape that. Like there's nothing super special about your kid. Like all these kids ain't special.
Miss Fields, can you go on mute till you want to say something?
Yeah, all these kids ain't special. There's nothing special about all these kids. The majority of these kids, there's one problem, and that's bad parenting. So I'm not saying there's no special kids out there, but I promise you it's probably not yours. So let's get real, let's get to work, and let's get these kids under control. And if you don't know how to do it, ask somebody. Figure it out. Y'all grown now. Y'all the adults now. I remember when we was kids and all of a sudden it became holiday time. And then you're like, oh, shoot, we the adults now. We got to figure this out. We got to find out the traditions. We got to put this stuff together. We the adults now. Time to start acting like it's time to start putting on the responsibility. Yes, it's hard, but it's probably hard because of the decisions you made to get to the situation that you're at. So let's not make the kids suffer any more than they have.
All right, Miss Fields.
Damn, you let's shut me up. All right, cool.
He just told you to shut up.
Damn, he put the wrap it up sign
Nope.
on you, Murray.
Wrap it up.
No.
I
was delayed.
I will just say that I think that tonight's conversation was very good. It was very open. And it addressed a lot of things that sometimes we don't want to hear, sometimes we don't want to say or acknowledge, and we did that. And I believe that the first action to fixing things is to acknowledge what the problem is. As far as so real quick, as far as segregation, I always said that the worst thing that happened to Black people was integration. But I don't think that in this society, in this time, I'm not saying that it can never happen, but I'm saying in this society at this particular time, I don't believe that self-segregating is an achievable goal at this time. Like in other words, I don't think I would see it in my lifetime, and I'm 47. My children might see it, but I don't think I would see it because it would take a lot of work to do that, because there's a lot of things that you have to take into consideration, because you're still going to have to depend on the white people or the government people or the Chinese people. You're still going to have to depend on somebody. Unless you're opening oil refineries and lumber yards and stuff like that, and you have everything planned out, you're going to still have to contribute to the government or the white people or anybody else. So self-segregation it's not an achievable goal at this moment. As far as the Department of Education, I want to just really make sure about this, because this one I am actually passionate about, because my husband is a teacher and because I have children. 10%, less than 10% of the Department of Education at a federal level goes to our children's school needs. They're still going to get lunch. That's the Department of Agriculture. Your children with disabilities, that has been moved as well. That is going to another department. Your Pell Grants and things like that have been moved to the Department of Treasury. So I don't want people to just fall for this fear mongering of, oh my God, he's getting rid of the Department of Education. Ronald Reagan wanted to get rid of the department.
Stop. Hammer time.
But he knew that it wasn't worth nothing. So I think, if nothing else, the one thing that Trump has said, and I'm gonna bring Trump in it for 1 minute, at this point, in some aspects, it's like, what do you have to lose? And by that, I just mean, this shit ain't working. It hasn't worked for this long. Let's try something different. Let's put it back into the states, and let's get our children educated, because our children matter the most to me. Your children, not just my children, everybody's children matters the most to me. Because like Billy said earlier, y'all are going to be the ones taking care of my ass when I'm 80 years old. I want y'all to have some sense. I want good kids to take care of me. And we're just not on that path. So let's just see what happens. Don't be so quick to just say, oh my God, he's doing this, and that. Because he's not the only person that said that. So let's see what happens. And again, the educational department has been politicized so much that teachers can't do what they want to do in a way that benefits our children. So I just want people to keep that in mind before making a judgment. Oh, well, he's firing this and he's doing this. Let's just have a different view. And I land my plane.
They pretty much wrapped up everything I had to say, because I mean, we just really have to be vigilant about paying attention to what's going on with politics and stuff like that, because sometimes a lot of stuff can get caught up in the muck. You know what I'm saying? Because when you mix up the education of our children, when you mix up all that stuff in politics and stuff like that, a lot of stuff gets skewed, a lot of stuff gets jacked up and whatnot. And we just have to really pay attention to what's going on and all that good stuff. So but anyway, we're gonna be back next week, 8:30 and all that good stuff, guys. Be safe this weekend and whatnot, and appreciate y'all. Thank you, Morphine, for stopping by. Thank you, Maurice, for being on the stage, and absolutely on behalf of Mrs. Fields, Dedrick, the Cookie Man, thank you guys for stopping by. Soul Flow
You're
Conversation.
very
We're gonna
welcome.
see y'all next week.
Anytime.
Yeah. Oh, what?
He did that thing.
You've been cutting people off all day, Jedrick.
Yeah.